Am I live? Oh no, I forgot. I gotta put on my Bluetooth. Okay. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm trying to make sure. Trying to see. Okay. Please let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know. Because I'm gonna be... Hold on. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Candace. I will be right back. Let me know if you can hear me, though, because I need to know if you guys can hear me at all. I have my Bluetooth set up on right now, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear me at all. And in all honesty, I'm just getting a bit of a shawl on right now, because I don't like how my arms look right now. I'm in the midst of being able to work out. Oh, sweet. Nice. Okay. Just got over a cold. Okay. As long as you guys can hear me, that's all that matters. So, yes, this is the piece that I'm currently working on. Oh, you could hear me getting the shawl. Nice. So that means the Bluetooth piece is working. That's awesome. Okay, so I have the Bluetooth piece on because, as you guys can see, you're pretty far away from me. And I want to be able to make sure that you guys can hear me when I look away, because I'm going to be looking at this painting a lot. So I wanted to make sure that you guys would be able to hear me. But yeah, this is the piece that I've been working on. I normally don't... no, don't be sorry. I normally don't... I don't do this colorful of paintings normally. This is the first time that I've ever done a painting this colorful. Thank you, Manny. And I've been just really trying to push myself out of my boundaries and get myself to want to like do different things and try different things, especially when it comes to painting. So thank you so much, guys. How much? Like what, for sale? This is actually going to be a present for somebody. But I will be, I'm keeping this for a present for somebody, but I am going to be painting more. I actually have 3 canvases off on the other side of my room that I'm going to be painting strictly for the purpose of selling, possibly if anybody wants to buy him. But it's probably going to be more scenes like this, like garden-like scenes, or what I like to call wet road style paintings. And I do have another painting right over here that I'll show you as an example of a wet road style painting. This is the second wet road style painting that I've done. The first one I gave to my fiance. And so this one was mainly as a practice to get myself more used to not being so neat and tidy with my brush strokes and everything. That was the problem that I was having with my first painting, was I was trying to be too neat with it. And that's also why I wanted to start doing this, to show you guys. Why is my fiance calling me when I'm live streaming? Holy cow, I'm gonna slap him. Anyway, so yeah, I did this to teach myself to be a lot sloppier and to not be so neat. And because these are all based off of oil paintings, and I paint with acrylic. And painting neatly when you're going for a more oil style painting, it's not going to work. You have to learn to be a lot sloppier. You have to learn to be okay with being sloppy. Let me see if I can bring you guys a little closer, though, because I can tell that you guys are pretty far away, and you're not going to get really good looks at what I'm doing here. So let me see if I can bring you... Don't ever finish a piece and sneeze on last stroke. I swear, I know, right? Let's see. See how we can do this. Get you guys low. Oh, maybe. Okay, not too far down. Okay, I think, unfortunately, I think that's as good as I can get it for right now. Let me focus in here. I'm going to try to have a better setup for next time. Yeah, thanks, dear, for trying to call me in the middle of live streaming. But anyway, yeah, so we're going to be working on this today. Now, the reason why I decided to go ahead and start live streaming this now when I'm already like almost halfway through. I know this looks halfway through, but I'm not. The reference photo that I'm using, where is it? I had it. I just had it here. Am I sitting on it? No, I'm not. Okay. Here it is. So this is the reference photo that I was using. As you can see, this is obviously an oil painting. This is probably taken, the person who made this painting probably had taken them several days, if not months, working on something like that. Because when it comes to oil paintings, you tend to have to let each layer dry in between, which can take several days. Now, I've always wanted to do oil paintings. Don't get me wrong at all whatsoever when it comes to oils. I want to do oils so bad. They're very expensive though, and they require a lot of like more tools, like more brushes, painting knives and things like that, as well as like paint thinners and like turpentine and things like that. And I don't have the means to be able to paint in a facility or in a place that's well ventilated, that I can paint and everything. So, and plus I'm really broke. So painting in acrylics is a much cheaper way to go, and you can get like decent paint brushes and everything, which this is my little bucket of paint brushes. I have even some pencils in here because I'm normally an artist that draws. I've only gotten into painting 2-3 years ago, so yeah, I'm very new to this. Even though it may not necessarily look like it, but I'm very new to this. But yeah, I have some favorite brushes that I like using because a lot of these are very cheap, so they don't necessarily work very well. But believe it or not, even when it comes to brushes like this one, I'll show you guys. If you guys have a brush that you think is ruined, you think it's done for, it's gone, because it's really rough. Yeah, let me see. There we go. It's really rough, really dry. You can see how hard and dry it is. This is one of my favorite brushes, believe it or not. I do the watercolor pencils when I don't have time. Watercolor pencils are amazing. Yes, dear, I do know that I didn't message you. I'm sorry, I just realized it because I was trying to get everything together before filming, and that's where my mind was at. Sorry. But yeah, this is one of my favorite brushes. And most people would throw this away as soon as they saw how like grimy and dry and weird it is. This is one of my favorite stippling brushes though. The fan brush is my favorite. No, I just put nail polish on it. Oh, I see. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I love these brushes. The ones that are frayed out and everything. To me, they're the greatest to use when it comes to having a more textured effect that you want. Recover and soak it in conditioner. Yes, exactly. That is a great way to save your brushes. I normally just soak them in some warm water because the paints that I have, when it comes to true acrylic paints, you cannot just soak them in water. If it dries, 9 times out of 10, it's dried. It's done for. Yeah, horsehair conditioner works. Oh, nice. I did not know that. I like it dry though, because to me it kind of helps with the texture that I'm going for and everything. But yeah, if you're going for like a true acrylic paints tend to dry like permanently, like kind of like how oil paints are. But when you get these really cheap acrylic paints from Walmart, like this brand, the Apple Barrel brand. Let me see here. I can get this to focus. Yeah. See, this is flag red. This is what they look like at Walmart. You can get them for like a couple, like seriously under $1 for a bottle. You can get bigger ones like this kind. This is like for like $1, I think, maybe $2 for this big old one. But yeah, they come very, very cheap, and they're water-based acrylic. So that means you can just soak your brushes in water afterwards. If the acrylic dries, you can soak them in water and the paint will come right off. And that goes the same for your palettes. Cheap little palette from Walmart. Would it be smart to go to a local art class? That is a very good question, Manny. If you are at all just starting into any kind of artwork, whether it be paint or drawing or anything, and you feel like you have any kind of anxieties or concerns, or you feel like you're going to waste materials or products or whatever, definitely sign up for an art class. Yeah, to get started in painting brand new, if it makes you nervous, definitely best thing to do is to get into a class of some sort. Some colleges will actually even offer free classes to people who want them, because there's people who wanting to become art teachers. So some colleges will offer free art classes for people who are learning to become an art teacher. Some people also, like at Michael's or whatnot, they will offer really inexpensive art classes. And you can always ask around friends, family, people who actually do art, who may have even gone to school for it. You can always ask them and see if they'll be willing to teach you a thing or two. I actually know a lot of people that do art, and yeah, it's always never hurts to ask around, never hurts to look it up at your local Michael's store, whatnot. Technique classes on YouTube as well. Exactly. So there's so many things out there. It's just a matter of looking it up. It's just a matter of exploring and not being afraid to, go on to that side of adventure and whatnot. But yes, dollar store brand water base, save your skin and clothes. Yes. Now I will say though, I've had this paint fall onto my clothes, and it has permanently marked a couple of my pants. So because I've done like paint splatter stuff, and that's always fun to permanently ruin your clothes. But I'm sure if I soaked them in water, in warm water, and I just worked at scrubbing it out, I'm sure it would come off. I've just never given that the try and the attempt to, because I don't really have time for that, to be honest. You know what? I'm actually going to see what I can do to get you guys a little bit closer, because this is bugging me how far away you guys are. I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So let's see if we can do that here. I have a lot of paint. I have a lot of like really cheap paint. No, I did not draw anything on the canvas first. I honestly just went by the reference photo, and always go by the background color first. So like this yellowy orange sunset glow background here, that's what I started with, and I basically painted the whole upper part of the canvas here, like here, and I kind of went down a little bit further. I think I went down to about here. Yeah, this is all my doing. This is all freehand that I've been doing, just strictly off of a reference photo. But then again, I have been doing art and anything art related for many years. I started drawing seriously when I was 10 years old. So I guess you could say I've kind of like grown up in art and everything, so I understand art a lot better than somebody who's only just jumping into art. So I always recommend watching Bob Ross if you're into paintings. Thank you, Manny. You're so sweet. Watch Bob Ross. He will show you the ways of building layers on your paintings as you're going, and he does it very fast. It's all half-hour episodes, and he shows you how to do the skyline first, adding your colors, then adding clouds, then adding landscapes, then adding. Yes, Bob Ross. Always watch Bob Ross. He will show you how to make the most beautiful scenes the easiest way possible. And I think that's where I get a lot of my ability to just go ahead and paint without having any classes, because I grew up watching Bob Ross. That man is my god. I love Bob Ross. I grew up watching him, absolutely adore him. I remember being excited to watch his episodes when I was a kid, and especially the episodes where he featured his animals. That was always a lovely episode. But yeah, I'm going to try to get you guys in here a little bit closer. So I have my tripod here. I actually use this. I use this tripod stand to do exactly what I did with my phone here, to watch Bob Ross as I was painting. So that's how much I love that man. Love Bob Ross. We did not deserve Bob Ross, as far as I'm sure. The guy with the fro, yes, absolutely, Bob Ross. The guy with the fro. Always had Bob Ross on the TV. Yep. That's my mom, guys, by the way. Peggy is my mom. Sorry if the angle and movement and everything kind of sucks. Just trying to get you guys there a little closer. I have my supplies over here, so I'm trying to move that. Scooch that over so I can scooch this closer. Oh, that's better. That's much better. Sorry if you guys can hear any of the bumps and movements of this. I hope you guys can't. Steve Irwin, Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross, we did not deserve any of them. They were good, good men. All right. All right. No. Baby, over here. Yeah, that works. And then I can move my lighting as well. There we go. That kind of works. We're getting there. We're getting there. Maybe that's a little too cool. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I have blue light bulbs and I have warm light bulbs. So I'm trying to make sure the cool and warm tones aren't too much on either end. So, all right. So get your palette. Always make sure you have a palette. And if you can't find any of these at Walmart or anything, these are really cheap. Only like a couple of cents. Sometimes they have these in a packet for like $1 or something with other things. So if you can't find these, you can always use the cardboard or anything. So that Kirby is at the gate entry spirit world. Hello, Leilani. Sure, you know, if that's what you want it to be, Kirby, that's what it can be. The gateway to the spirit world. But yeah, as you can see here, where's that reference photo? There it is. Always make a painting your own. Always. First and foremost, you can use a reference photo. Absolutely use a reference photo. But as you can see here, this is the reference photo. And then this is what I've painted. So while this is my reference, I still wanted to make it my own. I still went and did a gate that was completely different, something that I liked personally better, and I did it opened as well. I made the gate opened and not just Okay, hopefully that does not continue because I don't get any alert or anything when the signal goes. So hopefully that doesn't continue to happen. But yeah, so you guys can see that my painting and the reference are very different. I can draw anime too. Actually, I very stupidly offered to go through my old portfolio because I have a lot of drawings. My bookshelf that's just right over here. I haven't painted anime. I've only drawn and like colored through like coloring pencils or pastels. Never painted anime. But I recently painted the Gudetama, the lazy egg. I painted that recently because my youngest wanted me to. She wanted me to paint that, so. But I basically, back to the whole reference thing, I mainly use the reference just to get me an idea of what to use as a color first. So as you can see, this yellow, golden, glowy background. Our printer was out of ink, so that's why there's all the lines on there. So the gates I did freehand. I didn't use any reference for the gate. I just came up with something in my head, and I decided to paint that on. But what I did do is I went over it in brown first. I did a light brown first, and then I went over all of that in black to kind of, oh, thank you, Mom. My mom heard me mention the lazy egg that I painted. So that's the closest to painting anime that I've done. Thank you, Tony. If I paint Goku and Vegeta, I'll Manny. I just might for you then. I'll have to, thank you. I'll have to figure out a day to be able to paint Goku and Vegeta for you, Manny. But yes, so you can see how like in the center is that orange, yellowy, golden glow of like a nice, beautiful sunset or sunrise, whichever way you want to look at it. I look at this as a beautiful garden sunset because, as Bob Ross always says, have a story with your paintings. And I truly believe that having a story with this painting has helped me not only want to paint more, but also it's helped me visualize what I wanted to see more too. Which is how I came up with the gate that I wanted and everything too. So come up with, sunset or sunrise. And then, and I did a lot wider and further down than I thought I needed, because you always want to be able to cover the area that you're going to be covering over with, more open spaces. Because as you can see, like I have tree branches in here and everything that you can see, and you can still see a bit of that orange glow in the background, which is what you want. Thank you, dear. Wow. Bob Ross, yeah. I love Bob Ross. I can watch him all day, every day, which I actually have been this week, especially since I've been trying to quit smoking. And so far, I'm actually doing pretty good. I've only had 2 cigarettes today, which normally I was smoking a pack a day. So, hey, progress. Painting has helped me get through that too. So, always nice to have a hobby to change for a different hobby. Another key tip: don't confuse your drinking cups with your paint cups. That's painting 101. All right. So yeah, I have my cup way back here. How's this spray? Does it work? What spray? Yeah, ew. Yeah, no, seriously. I've come very close to confusing my water cups with, or my drinking cups with my painting cups. Yeah. Thank you, Manny. I'm really proud of myself too. I'm getting there. I'm hoping, so far, I'm really hoping that today's going to be just a 2 cigarette day. Yesterday was 3 cigarettes. Today, I'm hoping to stick with 2. But I'm not going to stress myself on it, so that way I can actually quit. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead. Now, I actually forgot something. The last time I was painting this, I meant to put in trees over here on this side and over here on this side. Playing soda can roulette. What? Babe, anyway. My fiance is weird. So when it comes to all the highlights and everything that you see in this, I'm going to get up close here for you. So like you see like the splotches of like light coming down. You can see it on the pillars there as well. Splotches of light even on the flowers and whatnot. Thank you, Candace. And you can even see splotches of light that's on the walkway here. That is all for the very end. So we're not going to be doing that today. So that's why my walkway looks the way that it does. It doesn't have any highlights or anything. My grassy walkway here doesn't either. But we are working on putting in the trees. And I wanted to focus on this part because I'm not perfect. I forget a lot. And so when I forgot the trees, I was a little mad. Oh, I see. I see what you mean there. So yeah, when you forget something like trees, don't ever freak out. It's so easy. It's so easy to work trees back in. So this is an old, dirty, this is all dried paint. So as you can see, it's all dried paint that's in there. It doesn't matter. You don't always have to clean them out. I know it can be hectic as crazy to get paint off, but if it can peel off like that, that makes it easy. But if you can't, don't worry about it. It's dried. It's not going to rehydrate and then mess up the colors that you put in it. So don't worry about that. It takes a long time soaking before it rehydrates. So don't worry about that. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to look for my browns because I need browns. So this is a multi-surface acrylic. This is a satin finish. you do want to make sure that you try to keep to the same finishes of your paints. With this one, I do have a mix of some satin, some mattes, and a couple of glosses. But because I do finish my paintings by spraying it over with a matte finish spray, it's not going to be too much of a bother. Still add trees and then plant bushes and flowers over them. Layer, yes, layers, layers. First and foremost, you're gonna learn this about painting. Layers are your best friend. So, always shake up your paints, especially if they're acrylic. What do you use to seal spray or paint on? Seal spray, Mom, since you're watching this, if you could bring my seal spray over to me, I'd greatly appreciate that. But yeah, it's I'll see if I can show you the seal spray that I use for my paintings. It's a matte seal spray. I do also have a gloss seal spray. I try not to use that one though because for me, I like my paintings to be matte. It's all personal preference though, and they do have I think it's either a natural or it's either a natural finish or thank you, Mom. It's great that you're watching my live stream. So this is what I use. This is the brand. It's the Krylon UV resistant clear. Excuse me. As you can see, it says matte. The gloss. I think there's sorry, I didn't see what that was. Fall Free Japan garden paint is awesome. Thank you, Mom. Yes, I do want to do more sceneries. Actually, in all honesty, I want to start painting like fandom sceneries, like Harry Potter scenes without people in them. I don't like painting people in my paintings. If that's weird, I'm sorry. But, oh, sorry about that, Manny. Yeah, it is in reverse. Sorry, because of the live stream. But yeah, it's the Krylon UV resistant clear acrylic coating. It protects against harmful UV light rays, non-yellowing permanent coating, moisture resistant, and it dries in minutes. I've actually sprayed this on my paintings when it was actually kind of hot out, and it actually dried in seconds. So, yeah, see, yeah. I want to do paintings of just the sceneries. So like a Harry Potter scenery with maybe Hogwarts in the background and a very small silhouette. Yes, always spray, as my mom was saying, always spray your paintings outside or in a very well ventilated area. So like in a garage with the open doors, something very well ventilated. Try to avoid finish spraying your paintings indoors. But yeah, I do want to do like Harry Potter. I want to do like some anime scenes, maybe in like this style. Of course, like oh god, there's so many that I could possibly think of off the top of my head. Just like Studio Ghibli movies with the famous scenes, and of course, Star Wars and everything. Yeah, like I mean that's I got the idea when I was at a coffee shop recently. There's a coffee shop here in Vegas that's called the Bad Owl Coffee Shop, and it's all Harry Potter themed. And I thought, oh wow, their walls are really bare. I wonder if they would hang my paintings here if I painted like famous Harry Potter scenes. Yeah, Star Wars would be really cool too. I think Star Wars would be a lot of fun actually. So all I'm doing here is I'm just getting some brown on a part of my palette. Sometimes they'll be very thick like this, and sometimes they'll be very runny. So always anticipate your paints are going to be really runny, because I've made that mistake before where I thought it was going to be thick, and it wasn't. But yes, so here I have this very light brown. What I do want to do, though, is I want to make this a little darker. So I'm going to add... See, this one's really runny. Grouchy John's. Yes, Grouchy John's is another coffee shop that loves local artwork. This color is Red Apple. The first color that I used, sorry guys, this coffee latte, this color. I'm just going to add the tiniest bit of red to this. Just like maybe 2 drops. There we go. And then I'm going to also add some green. This will help make it a little bit darker. And this one is Christmas Tree Green. I actually love this color green. You can lighten it and make it really neon. and you can also darken it really nicely. So as you can see, I only have like a couple of drops of red, a drop of green, and we're just going to go from here mixing that together to see what we get. Doesn't really matter what color I use right now. What did I do with my paper towel? I got a paper towel early. Ah, there it is. Haha, I found it. Ta-da! Paper towels are your best friend too in painting. Don't underestimate the power of a paper towel. I try to actually keep my paper towel use to a minimum too, because like I said, wet your brush a little bit. Just dab out the extra moisture. And we're going to go in. Paper towels will be your best friend in painting, and you want to try to minimize your use as much as possible, only because you can go through a lot of paper towels without realizing it, and it's kind of wasteful. You want to still be, you know, friendly to our environment. So I try to keep my paper towels as often as possible, and honestly, I'll even use like fast food restaurant napkins or whatnot. Wish I could visit and paint in Vegas. Who needs a strip? Oh yeah, would love to bring my palette. That would be awesome. I know, right? Yeah, who needs the strip? So this is still a little too light. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put just the smallest bit of black and put that in my water. Smallest bit of black. I mean small. Because this black is very strong. So honestly, I like to put some extra black off to the side. And then I'm going to just put just... That's actually probably even too much right there, but we're going to find out. No such thing as mistakes, only happy accidents. Quote unquote Bob Ross. Love that man. Legendary figure. You going to cobble the walkway? I honestly don't know yet. Cobbling it is actually a really great idea. Cobbling it is an excellent idea. Yeah, see, I think that black was a little too much, but you know what? We can always add a little bit more brown. Actually, you know what? I kind of like that color. It's a little grayish brown. I kind of like it. Kind of living for it. Because, excuse me. See how this color got really, really dark? You can see what it was originally on the sides there. I don't mind, don't care about paint getting on yourself. It'll flake and wash right off. Don't worry about it. I like to start off with a darker color and go lighter because highlighting can make all the difference in the world. Make them paint with only white, cyan, magenta, and yellow to torture someone. Oh, man. Well, honestly, I don't know. I'm still figuring out what I want to do with the walkway. Not 100% sure yet. But yeah, so after I mix, I like to rinse off my paintbrush. I know it seems like you're wasting paint, but trust me, you're not going to use all that's in here. I'm not going to use all of that paint in here. That's a lot. That's a lot of paint in there. I scraped off as much as I could before rinsing it off. And what I'm going to do is I like to keep my brush hydrated. And that just means to just keep my paintbrush from getting too dry, because then it gets a little hard to work with if it's too dry. Looks like a sunfish on a wet walkway. You know, I did a blue base with a light purple highlight to kind of make it glowy. I still have a lot more to do to that walkway, so don't worry too much about certain areas when it comes to it. Only focus on the areas that you want to focus on, because if you, like, see, for me, like, this walkway does stand out a lot and I don't like it, but I am going to try my hardest to figure out what I want to do to it later on, because right now I just want to focus on putting in the trees. So I want to, we're We're going to go over on this side. Sunlit on walkway. Thank you. You're wonderful, Candace. So we're just going to go over here. I'm going to make this tree nice and big. I like this brush. This is a nice flat angled brush. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's one of my favorite brushes to use. It's so easy for me to manipulate, if I can speak. So we're just going to go up this way. Bring it up. Don't worry about it being perfectly straight either. Trees are not perfectly straight. If you look at them, they always have these little bumps, little curves. Trees are not straight. They are not perfect, and neither are we, and that's perfectly fine. I don't know anybody who can draw a perfectly straight line. We're just going to bring this all the way up to the top. And I even like to go on the edge of my canvas. You don't ever have to do that. I just like to do that. And my youngest is over here. She's already bugging me, and I've only just touched my brush to the canvas today.
Mommy,
yes,
can I talk too?
No, baby, not today. What do you want?
In the next year, can I talk to the people and can I say I'm almost to kindergarten?
You want to tell everybody that you're almost to kindergarten?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you just did. Oh, thank you, guys.
They said, what they said.
So we're just filling this in.
And Mommy?
She wants to know if you guys are excited for her to be in kindergarten this year. She's really excited for herself.
Yeah, and I got a lunchbox too.
Yeah, she got a lunchbox. She's very excited. She's had a backpack since last year, but in pre-K they don't need a backpack, so she didn't get to use it.
So now I need to use my backpack too, pre-K.
Yeah. All right, can you let Mommy paint, baby?
Yeah, I just want to be on
give me a kiss. You give me a kiss. Mwah. All right, go on. Go watch Harry Potter.
Okay.
Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, she's my little 5-year-old. Yeah, my oldest is gonna be 10 this year, and it drives me nuts how fast they grow. But you know what? Such is life. We all grow. We all change. And it's actually a beautiful thing if you just let yourself feel the age that you're at, which I feel like I'm almost 30. Anyway. Platform's 9 is gorgeous. Your boy's 16. Holy cow. Oh. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to teen years. She's already showing her teenageness. So yeah, we're just going to be doing this. We're just going to be putting in more trees. So just have at it. Put as many trees as you want. As Bob Ross says, trees need friends. So I'm going to put a thinner one back here. And I'll make them all nice and tall. I normally don't do very tall trees in my paintings. I normally have them stop. But you see how this brush just nicely flows on the canvas? That's why I like it so much. Tree needs a friend. I'm seeing he can just be a little crooked. He doesn't need to be straight. No tree is straight. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate you guys' support on this. I was a little worried. I'm actually going to have this guy have like a little friend attached to him. Just because I can. I feel like he needs it. Feels a little incomplete. There we go. So yeah, when I gather some paint... Oh, Manny, that is so sweet. So when I gather paint, I don't just dip my brush in. I gather from the side and I push and pull away to keep the brush nice and flat to a point, if you can see that there. I get a little closer here for you. Oh, wait, no, too close. Camera can't focus. Ah, there you go. So yeah, you want to keep your brushes nice and flat, nice and clean. So that's what I always do is I always just kind of go back and forth, dipping it in the paint, and then I just barely tap to get some extra paint on the tip of the brush. I actually have my business email in the description of every video that I make, Candace. So if you want to send me an email, you can send it there to me. I have my phone on alerts for that email as well, so I'll get it definitely. So yeah, let's see here. Let me see. How far out with the trees do I want to go? I think I want to go to about right over here. I think this is about as far as I want to go with the trees. So I'm going to have this guy here be my marker. He's going to have a little curve to him too. So go back in for some more paint. Doing the swiping. Dip. And going right back in. And see, the more that you just let your hand create the curves in your trees, the easier it is to follow rather than a straight line, because our hands they're not made to make straight lines. We're humans. We make mistakes. And plus, we have little twitches. We have little things that make us quirky and who we are. A willow tree. Oh, that would be nice to do. I think I should do a painting with a willow tree at some point. Oh, maybe with my Harry Potter painting, I'll do the Whomping Willow. And this guy's going to have like a couple of branches sticking out. Just because I feel like he needs that. Maybe a little bit more. See, and keeping my paintbrush nice and flat too, I'm able to create these little branches here. There you go, that looks nice. So he's my little marker. Oh, that would be awesome. I'm completely self-taught artist, jack of all trades, master of none. Have this guy be really thin. Maybe even just stop off right there. Just a little baby one just right there. And then have like maybe another one right here. Have him go all the way up. All the way up. There you go, see? I just like to kind of complete the painting up over the top of the edge just because of how it curves. You can see that it continues. Oh, Candace, you're so sweet. I would love to actually have a program where I could paint fandom stuff. That would be awesome. That's the dream. Being paid to just paint fandom paintings. Fandom paintings are amazing. There's so many amazing, talented artists out there that just do that. They just do fandom paintings. Oh, I just can't believe some of the work that they come up with. It's so beautiful. Sakimi-chan is one that I think of. Also, Wiz Yakuza. He's an amazing artist as well. Love his work. This guy's just got a little baby branch sticking up over there. Let's see. Do I want to do any more? I think I do, but I think I want to make it a little darker. So, Sequest. I'll have to look that one up. So I'm going to get some paint over here. I'm just going to scoop some out. Put it over here. And that's why, too, I have more black. So I'm going to clean off my brush. It also gives me a chance to rehydrate my brush. Oh, the sculptor we discovered today. He actually doesn't do fan art sculpting, but he did some amazing sci-fi work. Takashi Tsukada? Takashi Tsukada, I believe. Amazing sculptor. Amazing. Very incredibly detailed. So sorry if you guys can't see that. I'm just trying to mix in a little bit more black. Make this a little bit darker. And it looks like a hair. Do you guys see that? Got a hair in my paint. I'm just going to pull that out. There we go. That happens. Don't freak out. It's just paint. Paint is our friend. Just adding a little bit more black. Just smallest little bit of black. Make it nice and dark like that. Yes, Takashi Sakata. My hair grows in. My mom's a little insecure right now because she's been shedding. I've been shedding too, Ma. It's all right. All right. So I'm going to clean off my brush again. I'm not going to use all this paint here. So I just want a couple of darker trees just to kind of show a variety. And plus it'll also give a little bit more depth of like distance and shade and everything. Like some trees will be in the shade of others. Some of them won't be. Just gonna get a little bit of paint on the end of the brush. We're gonna go in, put a nice dark guy. Just like that. Just like that. And he's gonna have a little growth. Because we're all a little weird. We all have little things that make us quirky. And this guy's got a little growth. Just like that. So a nice little dark one in there. See how that just kind of livens this up a bit too. Here, I'm going to put a little guy just right over here. Just like that. Maybe another one. I like this color. Oh my gosh, Candace, you are so sweet. You are so incredibly sweet. Thank you so much for that. It really does mean a lot to me. Just gonna have that guy just sneak up around over this way. He's gonna be a little sneaky guy. Let's see. I like how that's looking. I don't want to overdo it. But I think I will have another, well, just a kind of medium-sized one. I think we have some small ones. We have a nice big one. Have this guy be like medium-sized one, just like that. Just like that. And then, you know what? Let's just have them have a branch that just goes out over that way. There we go. Oh, thank you guys. I do have a cool mom. She's awesome. Of course, she drives me nuts every so often, but I'm sure I drive her nuts. We drive each other nuts, just like my youngest is driving me nuts right now.
Lonnie is posting.
Excuse me. Hope I just didn't cough right into the mic. But okay, so let's see. I don't have any trees in this reference on the side that I want to do a tree. But you know what? This is our painting. This is our rules. So you know what? I am going to put some trees on this side. I'm going to later put a nice big tree right here at some point later on in the painting. But I'm going to also, yeah, I'm going to also put some more over here because I feel like it's kind of missing out. I feel like this side needs something else besides just one big tree that's going to end up, taking over a lot of that spotlight. I feel like, it gives it more depth, gives it more character. So we're going to just load up the paintbrush again, like I showed you guys before how I load up my paintbrushes. And then dip, just the tip.
And mommy.
But yeah, it's just to get some paint on that tip of the
Mommy.
paintbrush. Yes, child of mine.
And can you ask the people I bring my my purple shield has a little bit blue and pink on it? Can you ask them?
Your what?
Can you ask the people I have a seal is purple and blue and pink a little bit?
Oh, you want them to see your pillow?
It's a seal pillow.
She's got a pillow pet. You guys remember those pillow pets?
Yeah.
Annabella, what are you doing? There we go. Just a nice little guy right there. Of course. That's what she said. Yes.
And I like my little seal.
Yes, it is very cute, sweetheart.
Yeah, and it has a light in it too.
Bit of a bigger friend over here.
And we got a light
sticking
in my
up out of the
seal.
bushes here.
And we got a light in my pillow.
Yeah.
We made
Now,
this.
always keep in mind when you do trees, I know I said this before, but doing trees is just letting the waves and curves and bumps of your own hand do the work for you. Let your hand do the work for you. It's really nothing to it at all.
And guys.
Seal keeps you company, yeah.
And guys.
The pillow, seal pillow.
Do you know how to spell Glippy?
Oh yes, Blippy.
B-L-I.
No. B-L-I. B-L-I-P-P-I. There you go.
That's how you spell
All right,
Glippy.
go on, sweetie. Go on. She is so talkative now, but
And there's
she
a
is
light in my
a
pillow.
big fan of Blippy, who I actually found out lives here in Vegas. That's really interesting and fun. Hopefully we'll be able to meet him someday. So just loading up the paintbrush again. I'm gonna make this guy a little bit bigger. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Nothing to be scared of. It's just paint. It's just paint. Okay, so I think actually I'm gonna clean off my paintbrush and I'm gonna do probably about 2 darker ones over on this side. They may not show up once, yeah. Blippy is actually pretty awesome. I've seen some of his stuff. I can't believe that guy used to be in the Air Force. Really great guy to be doing what he does for kids. Yes, don't ever be afraid. Art is meant for exploration. It is meant for you to find what makes you happy. And right now, what makes me happy are these trees. I love doing trees because they are so easy to do. I'm gonna make him a little bit thicker too. He's gonna have a little notch on this side. See? Trees are trees. They have little quirks. They have little things that make them different. Yeah, it's funny that you say that, Mom. That was one of the first comments that I got earlier from Kirby. Kirby was saying that it's the gates to the spirit world. Just gonna do a little dark one here. And maybe, just maybe, one little guy. Just right over here. One little guy. There we go. It's a little guy, but he can reach up really high. There we go. All right. So now while I let this side dry, I'm going to go back over to this side because this side is almost completely dry already since we've gone back and forth. So I'm just cleaning off my brush. I don't have the fun thing of Bob Ross of the brrrr with the paintbrush and say be the devil out of it. That would be fun. All right, so now I'm going to try to find my other favorite paintbrush. I have a couple of favorites. There's that one. I'm going to hold that one off to the side. That one's not it. Where is it? Oh, I always have a hard time finding this darn paintbrush. There's one paintbrush, it's my favorite, and I have the hardest time finding it every single time that I need it. You think that I would have a system by now where I could find it easily. I don't know, is that it? No, that's not it, that's a square tip. My favorite brush is a very flat brush, and it has the smallest little curve to it on the top. That's what I'm looking for. I think that's it. That is it. Yes, found it. You can see how much I abuse my paintbrushes. Actually, I think this one is my mother's, so sorry, Mama. I'll buy you some more brushes. This is a nice paintbrush. I like this one because it helps me get the shape of the leaves that I want. I'm just going to rehydrate this brush just to kind of get it together before we move on, because a secret stash of brushes. Well, thanks, Ma. Let's see here. I'm going to use Christmas Tree Green. Get your conditioner, yep. Okay, so I'm going to use Christmas Tree Green. I'm going to just use a little bit of that over here because I'm going to mix a bunch of colors. And I'll also use this English Ivy Green. Always shake your paints. Isn't that a lovely sound? Annabella Winter, can you please go? I'm trying to paint here. I swear, this child. Her sister's here, so it's not like she's lonely like she was yesterday.
What? I'm there.
Yesterday she was very lonely, and I had to kind of give up some stuff to spend some time with her.
I just want to stay carefully on the bed.
Well, then you got to be quiet, baby.
Okay.
Okay. As she coughs. So, whenever I mix colors, especially when it comes to greens, you have to think about what is in the green palette. Yellows. Yellows actually do help lighten your greens. Now, I'm going to use this very sparingly. If only Pillow Pets could talk. I know, right? Can I ask, when have you dried dead paint? When do you bring them back? Actually, when my paints dry, if they dry on my palette at all, if I start seeing that they're drying, oh yeah, tattoos are awesome to watch too. I love watching tattoos be done. If I see that, like how this one is starting to dry, if I need that paint to stay wet, I actually will go out of my way to like dip some of just like the smallest bit of water here. I'll even show you right now. So like I'll get some water from my little water cup over here, and I'll just like, as it's like really wet and it's like almost dripping, I'll just let that drip into the paint, dry off the rest of my brush, and kind of resaturate that a little bit. And it kind of helps bring it back to life. It doesn't work very long, I will say that. Yeah, don't drink the paint. It doesn't work very long, I will say that. It only helps keep it surviving a little bit longer. Now, I did actually forget, I got to put highlights on these trees before I do any of the leaves around here. I'm glad I saw that before I continued. So what I'm going to do... you know, there's actually First Friday here in Las Vegas. First Friday features a lot of local artists of all different kinds of mediums. And I actually missed out on going this month, and I'm kicking myself for it because I really wanted to go. I wanted to support a friend of mine, and I missed out. But it's always the first Friday of every month, and they feature many artists, and they show galleries and everything. There's galleries in the Arts District here in Vegas where they open up specifically for First Friday. And I need some more brown on that, so a little bit more. I don't need to shake this up all the time. I just made a habit of myself of shaking my paints before I open them because I've had that problem where they separated. So. Oh, there you go. First Fridays and Sundays. That's awesome. Yeah, I love any kind of gathering that supports artists. See, I have a lot of brown in here. I don't need this much, but I just need to lighten this as much as I can so I can do some highlights. Just do some nice little highlights. This is a lot of brown. You see all that? That's a lot of paint. I don't need this much. But yes, festivals, art, and music. Yes, they even, for us, I don't know about you guys, but they do poetry readings here for First Friday as well. Welcome back, Pearly. We're just starting to get into highlighting our trees here. So I got my brown nice and light and highlighted. So I'm going to just barely dip my brush in that. When it comes to highlighting, you want to keep as minimal, very minimal paint on your paintbrush as possible. So you can see there how little bit of paint I have on there. So what we're just going to do, we're going to go over here. We're just going to paint where the light is coming from. The light is coming from over here, so I'm going to keep it to that side of the trees. Just going to place that. What is that? Can't wait for next summer, coming out to Vegas for a week. Oh yes, that's right. You're going to be coming out here next summer. Really looking forward to that, I bet. Sorry if I sound a little funny right now. I'm trying to just get at an angle where I can see where the highlights need to go on this tree here. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just using a flat square tip brush. Just to kind of, you know, spackle on some of those highlights. Now, bark on a tree is in different thicknesses throughout the tree. So you want to keep that in mind when you add highlight to a tree. You can actually add highlight as far as back as the other side of the tree. Don't want to make it too consistent. I just want to place that in there. Use the fact that the brush is a flat tip brush. Now see, I added a little bit too much paint right there, so all I'm just going to do is wipe off the excess paint. And I'm just going to go back in and work that in to where I can actually use that paint that's on there that's a little too much. And just kind of spackle that around. So that way it's not too bright, or I don't want it. Excuse me. I also try not to use just straight up paint colors from the bottles itself. I try to come up with my own colors. I try to mix colors. And it does make it harder for if you're working on a painting that takes a few days to work on. It really does, but it can make your paintings stand out just that much more if you use colors that you come up with on your own rather than ones that come straight out of the bottle the way that they are. Having a little hard time seeing because I do have a bit of a glare on my painting, so I'm going to try to move my light here so I don't have too bad of a glare. Actually, you know what? I think it is this light? No? Is it my overhead light? I think it is my overhead light. Oh, can't do anything about that. I'm just going to angle this a little bit more towards myself. Sorry, guys. Annabella Winter.
What?
I think it is time for you to go to bed, young lady. Ready for fall and Halloween, absolutely.
I don't want to.
Annabella, that's not a microphone.
And it's
She's so weird.
What?
She is so weird.
No, I'm not. Mommy?
Oh, children.
Mommy? I really want to try my snacks
sorry.
from yesterday. Can I?
Oh, hi, Lois. Oh, I know which Lois. Thank you for joining, Lois.
Can I say hi?
And thank you for the lovely compliment about my painting.
Can
We're
I
just
say-
putting some highlights on the trees right now.
Can I say hi?
You are already saying hi, dear.
Okay.
My
I just
5-year-old keeps bugging me.
Mommy,
She's-
I really want to try my
Acts like she's lonely, but she has her sister here this time.
Yeah,
So-
but me and Lilani are lonely.
Right here.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're not keeping your sister occupied, are you?
Well, I was in the middle watching.
Ooh, there it goes, there it goes.
Hold on, I need to pause it. I need to pause it.
They were supposed to be watching Harry Potter. But they're really not. There we go.
Sorry.
There we go. We're just putting some of
And
these
Mommy, can I have my
highlights.
cheese from
Doesn't have to
yesterday?
be perfect.
Mommy, can I have my cheese from yesterday?
No, you cannot, dear. It's almost bedtime, so go on.
Why?
All because I'm the big bad meanie mommy.
But I
See,
want
now, don't mess with my lighting, please. Can you please go? Now you're being a brat.
my treat from yesterday.
No, naughty girls don't get a treat.
Mhm.
That's how I get them to leave me alone. She's not a naughty girl. She's actually normally very good. She does normally listen, but today she's just being a little show off because she sees that mommy is filming.
Just me locking the door.
Oh, thank you. And my mom thankfully just locked my bedroom door, so thank God. So yeah, same thing that we did on the other side. We're just adding the highlights to the one side where the center of the light is. You want to definitely keep great meanie mommy. Thank you, Candace. I'm sure you understand what it is to be like a mommy that's just like, leave me alone. She does. She does want to be a little bit of a star. She's definitely one for attention. And she's always been like ahead of her time. That child, I'm not too worried about her. She's very headstrong. Very determined. Very stubborn. Like her mommy. Before anybody else says it, I said it. Oh, twins. Oh, no. Yeah, I have twin nephews. I totally understand where you're coming from there. They are pillock. Love my nephews, but oh my god, I don't know how my brother does it. Yeah, we're keeping the lighting on this tree a little bit not so strong. Definitely stronger on this one. Like I did stronger on this tree here. A little bit sparse back here. And then I'm going to take some of that highlight color. Thank God July is over. Rough month. Yes. Oh my gosh. July was a rough month. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, so far 2018 has been rough. 2018 has not been fun. Kindergarten and being a single mom, duct tape is good threat. Oh my god, it is. Oh, I love threatening with duct tape. Not to say that I'm a mean mommy and doing that on the regular. Just saying, when you're a mom, Candace understands, and you just want some time to yourself, and your kids, of course, they're fully capable of entertaining themselves, but they choose not to. They choose not to. So like that trick that I showed before, I did add a little bit of water to this paint here that was drying, and now I'm just mixing some of this color, that highlight color, in with this just to make it a little bit of a darker highlight, because we're going to now highlight those darker trees. And we don't want it to be as light as those other trees, because it's just gonna look too off, because those trees are darker. They're gonna have a darker highlight to them. So definitely want to keep things like that in mind. When it comes to light, light affects things in color differently. Like what highlights a purple flower will not highlight a red flower, if that makes any sense. High school bingo. Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm so happy that pre-K is over though, just because now with kindergarten, I get more time to do the things that I want to do. Whereas in pre-K, their time is very limited. So I'm going to have this tree here in front of the little one right next to it. So I'm going to highlight, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to highlight this one first. You know what? I think that's a little, no wait, no, it's not too dark. It's just right. It's just how I want it. Now you can highlight as strong of a highlight as you want. You don't have to take my word for it. This is just how I like to highlight my trees. If you like to highlight your trees a little bit stronger, want to make that light nice and bright, go right on ahead. That's the beauty of painting. You can do it your way. That's what makes painting wonderful. It's all about what makes you happy. It's not about what makes someone else happy. It's all about your own. Bob Ross said it best when it comes to the joy of painting. I personally feel there really is a joy with it. Painting has helped me personally on such a level that I don't think anything else has. Drawings I would get frustrated with. Oh, I would get so frustrated in drawings. I would look at something and stare at it for hours and just be angry at it because it wasn't going the way that I was hoping it would. Whereas with paintings, if it doesn't go the way that I want it to, I just let it dry and I go back over it. It's that simple. Back over on this side, I'm going to start on this edge. Just highlighting that just ever so gently. Don't want to highlight too much, just want to highlight just some spots. I'm going to highlight the center of this guy just because he seems really round. May not be like slimmer than the other trees. He seems to be a little bit more beefy. I love painting. I love it so much more than drawing ever has made me happy. Not to say that I don't like drawing. I do. I still doodle from time to time. But I would get so... I caught it! I caught it! Sorry. Black paint and start over again. Absolutely. And yes, Bob Ross is better than Xanax. Bob Ross is truly just a peaceful god. I've actually seen an animation here on YouTube that showed Bob Ross like coming down from heaven and scaring away a little devil. And it's like, oh, there's trees here, and that tree needs a friend. You know, there's a whole family of trees, and here's a little bush, and that bush needs friends too. And oh, oh, Lois, you're so sweet. Thank you. All right, I think I like those highlights. So we're going to go ahead and back to those greens. And yes, they did start drying a little bit, but don't ever be afraid. Don't be afraid. Those paints can always be revived. And Manny, I did see your question about books. You know, honestly, I haven't had a whole lot of time to read any books lately. My mother actually did buy me a book recently called Yes, Your Teen is Crazy. And I'm really looking forward to reading that one. That one looks like to be a lot of fun. So I had to rehydrate this lighter one, but these other ones look like they're doing all right. They don't have a skin on them developing, so that's good. So we're just going to go ahead, load up the brush. Load it up. Seems to be my paintbrush is a little too wet still, so I'm just going back on the paper towel, letting it absorb. Letting it get that extra moisture, just so that way it's not too runny. I don't want my paint to be running away from me on the canvas. Yes, Your Teen is Crazy, Loving Your Child Through the Teen Years. Yes, that is the book. Now, here's a technique that I've just kind of come up with on my own when it comes to doing leaves or this kind of a texture that you see here from this edge to the walkway. This is kind of what I've done. I literally just have held my paintbrush like this and just that. Maybe even using the sides, just bringing it around. Kid you not, that is all I did. Load up the brush again, get it nice and saturated. Just rotate the brush around. Because you know what? Leaves come and grow all different ways, all different shapes and sizes. We just want to cover up the bottoms of those trees. That is all we are out here for. Just to cover up the bottoms of those. Load up the brush. Don't want to take off too much of the excess because we do really want it to be a little full. Kind of help us with filling in those spaces. If you want, you can always follow some kind of line or trail so that way it actually looks like it's on some sort of branch. Can always do that. Just going to fill in some of these other spaces too, just so that way it doesn't look too intentional of just one area having this particular color. Again, load up the brush. If it seems a little too scratchy or whatnot, just don't be afraid. Go back over it. Seems a little sheer, go back over it. Never be afraid. Never be afraid. So you can even do something like that, where you just go in like a little 3-part form, where you just do a leaf, center, and then another leaf on the side. You can always do that. It's always fun. Just mess around, find what works. You can even come up on the tree a bit. Don't have to keep it so far down. Come up on the tree just to kind of make it look fuller. Sorry, my head got in there. I want this to look like a nice thick bush. Bush that's been here for a while. It hasn't been kept at all, but it looks good that way. The gardener felt that it needed to grow. See, like a little story, just like that. Little stories in your thing here. Paintings can always have a little story that you can just tell, and that's what I love about Bob Ross, was he always encouraged storytelling with your paintings. So it's more than just a single art form of painting, putting a paintbrush to a canvas. It's more than that. So I'm gonna just bring this bush up this way. Just kind of make it a little bit more full back in here. There you go. That looks nice. A little shiny right now. Just rehydrating my brush. I felt like it was getting a little dry there, and it was a little hard to control. So sometimes just cleaning off your brush, going back in, can really help. And like I said, if it seems too sheer, just go back in. Alright. I don't know how Bob Ross did this in a half hour. I could never. Alright, now we're going to go into a richer green. I'm going to go into that Christmas tree green. That color that I was just painting with there, that was the English ivy green. Aw, thank you, Manny. I do want to get good enough to where I could paint in a day, but it is hard with acrylic because if you don't let it dry after a certain point, like once you lay down a base color and everything, a lot of the times you need to let that dry completely, because if you don't, it can actually, whatever you paint on top of that can bring that color back up and off of the canvas, which is something very, very weird, but it does happen. It's happened to me. So that's why it's a little harder to paint in one day when it comes to acrylic. But it's still fun. I like it. It's not everybody's forte. But just because you can doesn't mean you'd like to. Just like with Michael Jordan, actually. He was supposed to be a baseball player, I believe. And it wasn't for him. He told his dad that he didn't want to. He liked basketball, not baseball. It's just a matter of finding what makes you happy. Now this Christmas tree green is not very opaque either. I don't know what it is about the greens, but they're just not very opaque. So don't worry too much, just kind of go back and forth. Let the colors dry as soon as you lay them down, and you can go back over them. Just like that. Okay, just place it wherever you think it needs to be placed. See how it can be a little sheer. I don't know if you guys can see that, but over this lighter green area right here, you can really see how sheer that green is. That Christmas tree green. So don't worry about it. Just go right back over it. Load up my brush again. Oh, thank you, Manny. I'll hopefully be doing this more often. I do actually have a painting class that I'm going to be setting up for me and my friends here soon as well. And it'll be my very first art class. Just period. Just a straight up art class. My very first. I'm really looking forward to it. The lady is very nice. Her name is Dana. I've already spoken to her on the phone once already. Very nice lady. Very excited to get my lessons from her. She's very kind in complimenting my artwork as well. Thank you, Manny. Yeah, I've sent her pictures of my paintings that I've done already. She asked me straight up. She was like, "I want to see what paintings you've done. I want to see this." So I sent it to her, and she was like, "That is amazing work." And I was just like, "Wow." Coming from somebody who teaches paintings, that's quite a compliment. Thank you. Very nice lady. I'm very excited. So yeah, now I'm just using like the tip end of my brush, and I'm just kind of just lightly going in. Just create a little bit of a more textured effect, a more stippled effect, just to help bring in that green and not have it be so splotchy. And just random. Just be as random as you can with it. There's some areas that I am avoiding only because I don't want all the color from other layers that I've done being taken away. So I'm just lightly going in just to help kind of meld them together so it doesn't look splotchy, kind of like a disease. We don't want that. I'm going to be going over this part again, so don't worry about that. There we go. It's looking good. It's looking all right. Doesn't have to look perfect right now. We're doing layers. That's the whole point of it. It's layers. Now I have to let this dry a little bit. So in that meantime, I'm going to be mixing some colors. I'm going to take that, not that one, Christmas tree green. I do believe I am done with that Christmas tree green, so I'm going to go ahead and just add some more to the palette here. See if I can get this right to where I can actually have you guys see it. Now, as the trick that I mentioned earlier, where's that yellow that I pulled out? Was this it? No, this is bright yellow. This isn't the lemon yellow that I was using yesterday. It's very slight difference. I'm just going to start misspelling everything just to get B to respond. Yeah, he's being a little quiet this evening, which is unusual. So I got some yellow in there. I'm just going to put a little bit of white. A little bit of white. Believe it or not, these whites are very opaque. So it helps bring that opacity into this. So I'm just going to put a little bit. Yes, white. Just a little bit of white. What Bob Ross always does. I always thought, it's funny because I always got annoyed when I heard people with that white, and whenever they would do that, but then I realized, oh shoot, Bob Ross does that. Oh my God, Bob Ross does that. I can't be mad at that anymore. It's like that man is my god. I love Bob Ross. Oh, I'm relaxing my fiance. He doesn't want to interrupt. That's a good man for you right there. So, let's see here. I do like this, but I think I'm going to add a different kind of green to this. I think I'm going to add, let's see, do I want to add this one? It's Kelly green. Let's go ahead. Why not? He is a good guy. He puts up with me. That makes him an excellent guy. Trust me. I'm German and Irish. There's not a lot of... Oh, Candace, you're so sweet. So yeah, as you guys can see, I'm almost out of this Kelly green, and I just dropped a drop on my paper towels. All right, so just gonna mix some of that in a little bit too. It's because it seems to be on the blue tone. I want this more on the green toned. That's better. I like that one a little bit better. It's a very subtle difference, but it's enough. Yeah, it's enough for me to like, and that's what matters. You got to make yourself happy. I think this is a little too light, though, for what we need it to be right now. I'm going to clean off my brush, and I'm going to add... Oh, what to add? I think maybe a little bit more yellow. And then I'm going to add some of that darker green. This English ivy green. I love this color. Aww. He said it's a privilege to spend time with me. What a sucker. I'm kidding. Oh, there was a notification on my phone. Oh, it's Webtoons. Oh. If you guys have ever heard of the app Webtoons, I'm not sponsored by them at all, but I'm just saying they have some incredible comics on there. Speaking of artwork, amazing artwork from people on there coming up with their own comics. It's awesome. The world's sometimes not subtle and nuanced enough. Paint a better world. Yes, paint a better world. That I like, Kirby. You always say like the really greatest stuff. You really do, Kirby. You come up with really great questions like Manny does, and you're just an awesome viewer. Appreciate you, Kirby. Harley Quinn, Batman. You know, honestly, I don't like painting people. I know it sounds weird, but I don't like painting people. I like having my worlds where it's just a beautiful scene. It's something that I wish that I could be in, to sit in and experience, smell the flowers, smell that like beautiful grassy smell, like see the glorious trees. That's what I love to paint, because that's something that I really wish I could see for myself. I think I'm gonna add the smallest bit of black to this. Smallest bit, I mean, and like... Yeah, my fiance's daughter is actually named Harley Quinn, believe it or not. Yeah, you know what? I agree with you there, Candace. Painting people, they look possessed. I just can't paint people, honestly. It's not that I won't. It's that I can't. Painting and drawing people are very different things. And painting them takes a whole nother skill set, I feel. So people who can paint people, I think they are very talented. And they are amazing at what they do. And by God, they should be freaking praised. Sorry, I know I'm spending a lot of time mixing this color. I'm just trying to get it perfect in the color that I want. I don't think I'm going to get there. I just need a little bit more black, but I don't want to mix in the green. So I'm just taking the smallest bit of black, as you can see, and I'm just going in and mixing that. Smallest bit, because that black is strong. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's the color that I'm looking for. Yes. 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 Sorry, I like to have fun too. 'Cause I'm nerdy and dorky like that, so. Again, cleaning off the brush. Disney paintings. You know, I've never tried. I've never tried Disney paintings. I guess it would be worth a shot, I suppose. Like, you know, honestly, I would like to do like sceneries of like Disney scenes, like, you know, the Aladdin and Jasmine's castle, Beauty and the Beast castle. Yeah, like Little Mermaid. Yeah, yeah. Like Little Mermaid castle and everything, like underwater scene and everything. I think that would be a lot of fun to do. Yes, that is a beautiful color. Yes, that is what I am looking for. I think I'm also going to put in some of this light blue color here. I'm going to put that in here in just a little bit. I'm trying to keep this color to the surface of other paint marks that I've made here, because this is definitely more of a highlight, but it is another leafy color too. So I don't want it to just be a highlight. I want it to be leaves and everything as well. Snow White tribute. Oh, you know, Snow White is actually one of my nicknames. I worked at a limo company for almost 3 years, and there was a supervisor that I had, even though I was a supervisor, there was a supervisor of mine that he couldn't remember my name, and so he just called me Snow White. So I was dubbed Snow White in the office for quite a while, to where I even changed my Facebook name to Snow for a short period of time, just because, you know, I kept getting called it so often. Figured, why not just embrace it? Even though I'm definitely more of a tomboy than anything. I have gotten more in touch with my feminine side lately, though. Gotten better with that. There we go. Just adding some greens around. Fixing those colors. Bringing that over here as well. Remember to rotate your brush. Don't just keep your brush in one sort of way. Rotate it around. Helps bring some authenticity to it. There we go. Go back in. Just kind of enforce some of that color, because it did kind of get lost in those darker colors there. Just trying to reinforce some of those coloring. There we go. Mirda! Aww, I love Mirda. I love that story, Brave. You know, honestly, I'm such an emotional person. I know a lot of people would never think of me to be. Some people do think of me to be. But I actually am very emotional. And every Disney Pixar movie, oh god, I bawl like a freaking baby. Seen me at the freaking Infinity War. Oh, I sobbed. Sobbed like an idiot. So I have this color here. It's a little bit of a darker blue. More of a, I'd say it's more aquamarine. It's got a slight green tinge to it. It's not exactly blue. Highly sensitive. Yeah, no. Oh my god. Being sensitive sucks sometimes. It really does. Now I'm gonna, since this was more of like a, I don't know if you guys can see it because of my walls being green. You may not be able to see this very well, but this blue that I have on top of the dried white blue, it does have a slight green tone to it. Very slight, but just enough. So I'm going to add this blue here, so maybe you can be able to see that a little bit better. This is like a light blue. A very light blue. Next to that kind of teal color, it looks actually almost like a very soft lavender blue. It's very strange how colors look so different next to each other. when they look so similar outwardly. There we go. Oh, that's such a pretty color. Ooh. Ooh, look at that. Very pretty color. Gosh. I wish there was a way I could capture this color better on camera for you guys, because it really is actually really pretty. I like that mixture. I might use that more often. So, let's see here. Now, I am going to take some of that first color, just a little bit, off to the side. Yeah, like a robin's egg. Yes. Yes, robin's blue. Very pretty. Oh, yeah, see, this even says Indian turquoise. Okay, haha. And then this one is Regency blue. Very interesting. Very weird names. I've always wanted to be that person that does the computer voice for, like, the party you have dialed has not answered. Please leave a message after the tone. Like that, like those voices, or even like the person that like names colors for things, like paints, because I think that would be like a really fun job. It's like little odd end jobs that I've always thought of when I was a kid, that I was like, that's what I want to be when I grow up. Excuse me, is that a little weird? I don't know. I'm a weird person. Like I said, I'm very strange. So I'm taking that Indian turquoise on its own first, just to kind of... Oh, it is rather light, isn't it? Never be a Siri. No, I mean, I'm sure those people who have done the voices of Siri, I'm sure they've gotten paid very well. Oh, I would not doubt it at all. Let's see, I think I'm going to add a little bit of blue. Yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah. Very weird, very smart. All right, so I'm taking some, what was that? Real blue? Bright blue. That's what it was. Bright blue. I'm just going to take the smallest bit of it to mix with that Indian blue, just to darken it just a bit. Don't think that worked. So we're going to take a little bit more. There we go. Because it was a little light. Little light. Ever so the black too. Black is strong. There we go. Nice and kind of muddled down. But I have a plan. I have a plan. You will see. So, yeah, that was a little bright over here. So we're just going to cover that up. It's a little too bright. So we're just going to very lightly stab this in. This will give a nice little contrast to our painting here. Remember, rotate your brush, because it's going to give similar patterns to where it's going to look almost manufactured, and you don't want that. I am looking down at my reference photo from time to time here, just to kind of, you know, see what it is that I want to do. That kind of correlates with the lighting and the colors. I'm not like holding myself to it. I'm just kind of like letting it influence me. And then over here, there's a little bit like back in here, so I'm just gonna let that come down. Rotate the brush a bit. Let it kind of come over some of the tree trunks a bit too. Don't want to do too much. Just wet my brush just a little bit. Get rid of some of that excess water on my paper towel. go back in. It's just when I see the paintbrush is kind of drying. It's when I do that. There we go. There we go.
Can I come in?
All right. Now,
Can I come in?
no, child.
Why?
Oh my goodness. My child does not know how to leave mommy alone. She's been attached at the hip since she was a baby though, so that's partially why. So now I'm going to take some of that blue. Now we're going to take some of that lighter blue. Just going to go right on the top of that. Just in specific areas. Not going to get too crazy with this. So just like that. You guys are really awesome. I really appreciate you guys. Just a little bit there too. Now over on this side, I think we're going to just do the same, where it's just going to be a very subdued, very little highlights. Little highlights. Just right where you think the light would hit, coming from over that wall, over that gate, just hitting these leaves, causing all these beautiful colors to shine. Just a little bit, just like that. Well, that came out a little harsh there, but that's all right. Flattening out that paintbrush again. Trying to encourage the brush to behave. There we go. There we go. Very subtle, but enough for it to stand out. Enough for it to do what we wanted it to do. I am going to go back in though, just because my brush got a little frayed there towards the end. So I'm just going to go back in, just to clean that up a little bit, just so that way those marks don't make it look like it's taking away from the effect we want. Go over here as well. Just manipulating all of that. The brush gets a little frayed, it gets a little annoying. But you just gotta take a deep breath. Just work with it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back in with, let's see, was that the lighter green that I was using? I believe so. Some of this lighter green again. This is the Hauser light green that I was using from here. Add some more of that. But now some bright yellow. A lot of bright yellow. And Snow White. See, all comes full circle. Now, if this comes out too yellow or whatnot, you can always add a little bit more green. If it comes out too light, you could always add a bit more green too. If it comes out to where it looks really pale, still has a green hue to it, but it comes out a little pale, you might want to add just the smallest bit of yellow. So yellow will help keep that green color there. Now I'm actually going to use this color to mix in here. Brighten this up a bit. Since I have a lot of paint there, I don't mind cleaning off my brush in between. So I'm going to add a little bit more, a lot bit more. There we go. It's all about the different tones of green. Whenever you're doing shade to light, light to shade, it's all about the different tones. It's what helps create that depth, that effort. I'm not going to spend too much time on this color though. Just going to saturate and make sure my brush is really nice and dry. Paper towel is getting a little damp. So all I do is I just rotate that around. Just rotate your paper towel around if it gets too damp in one spot. So back in, saturating the brush. Yeah, West Coast forests are beautiful. East Coast forests are beautiful too, but they definitely have a creepier vibe, I've noticed. So again, I'm just gonna go back in here. Go back in, just make sure your brush behaves and it doesn't get too crazy. Don't forget to rotate your brush as you go as well. Don't be too uniform with your placements either. Definitely feel free to get random with it. Even if you want to just come up there and do that. Just make it blend into its background. See, I'm even gonna take some of a darker green. You guys can see that. Take a little bit of that darker green just on the tip of my brush. Just kind of add a little bit of interesting dual colors there. I like to do that from time to time. I don't like to do it too often because then it can look a little too purposeful. You want this to look natural. You want this to look like it just was meant to be there. And if you feel like your color's getting a little too muddy as well, oh, sorry if I'm getting into your guys' light. I want you guys to see. Just clean off your brush. Wipe it off. Saturate your brush again. Make sure you get it nice and saturated. Pull off all that excess and then just dip. Just like that. Helps you fill in that space a little faster too, because it adds more color in one go rather than in multiple layers as one does. Just go back over, saturate the brush, dip. Just going back over some of those areas, just again, make sure it doesn't look uniform. Never want your paintings to look uniform. You want it to look like nature does. It's on accident. Beautiful accidents. There we go. All right, now we're going to go into that highlight color. That lovely bright yellowy green there. I like this color too. Looks a little gross on the palette, but once you get it on the painting, oh, it's so pretty. You can make it look like it's crawling up on the other leaves, blending in with all those beautiful blues. Ever so slightly. There you go. Don't forget about the highlights in the background as well. Don't want to forget about them. See, and I want this also to look like it's kind of spilling, just a little bit spilling downwards. Sorry, I know this is going on for a long time, guys. But this is how I paint. I can just sit here and paint for hours. You know, it's actually not, I don't know if there are blue trees in the world, but a lot of it is really just lighting. If you see how light hits trees and like how the sunset goes, you see these beautiful colors that you may not have noticed before. It's very interesting once you realize that there's more to colors in the world than what we first initially think. Painting, I feel painting has kind of opened that up to me, for me to be able to see those colors better, to where I can actually sit there and go, oh my gosh, I didn't know. Like, there's like these beautiful hints of violets in the sky that make the trees look like they're a little violet as well. Okay, so my brush is getting a little frayed again, so we're gonna just clean that off. Dry it off. And see how I dry off my brush too is I dry it off in the way that I want it to be. So if I want it really flat, I dry it off like that too. So I try to go back in, flatten out the brush while loading it up with paint. Sometimes it just won't behave for you and you just kind of have to make it. Just be like, please work with me. Excuse me. All right. Just going back in. Oh, I think this paintbrush is actually just not wanting to work with me today, so we're going to move on to this flat top square brush. That round top is one of my favorites, but it's not wanting to behave. So we're just going to move on. We're not going to fight it. We're going to just let things happen. Just going to go back in. We can make this work too. I like to use a corner of this brush. I like to use a corner of it, and that's what helps me feel like I have that control. Or else, otherwise, you may not feel like it. Might not feel like you have that control, but using the corner of it does help. So I like to do a little bit of this, where I just lay down some highlight and then I go back over it. And that kind of helps continue that look of, like, you know, that the floral ivy coated wall over here is still getting hit by those sun rays. There we go. Go back here, kind of fix some of these that look a little uniformed yet again because the paintbrush was not wanting to work with me. And I just go right on top of that the bush there. Sarah has reached Zen mode. Yeah, I kind of have. When I get in my Zen mode, I don't want to stop because it's such a relaxing feeling. And especially right now with me quitting smoking, it's like, oh, I could do this all day because it just helps me. It helps me just quiet my head, quiet my thoughts. Go back over here, kind of fix this a little bit too. There we go. Add just a little bit of highlight over here. We don't want too much. Don't want it to take away from that blue. There we go. I think I'm going to add a little bit more white to this highlight color just to kind of help match to this center lightness here. Just a little bit more white. Dry off the brush. Mix that in. Nice and pale, nice and pale. Just want to make sure, no, not quite there yet. So I'm going to add a little bit more. Matching colors is not always the greatest and funnest thing in the world, but teaches you a lot. See, it's a little bit messy too. Adding a bit more white. Okay, I feel like that's as close as I'll get, unless I get it like pretty much right next to being white. And we're just gonna fill this in again. Just because the highlight of highlights, they always go right on top. And then this will complete our work for today. As I mentioned, I wanted it to kind of billow out over here a little bit. I want it to look like it was kind of pooling this way. Oh, got a little too heavy of a hand of paint there. Again, it will look like it's scattering out this way. And don't forget to rotate your brush. I'm using all kinds of sides and angles of the brush because it's not my usual brush that I use. So. Because my usual brush that I use is not wanting to cooperate with me today, and that happens. I want to speckle this all around, kind of help almost give it a dewy look as well. Oh, thank you guys. Well, with watercolors, Manny, it's a great thing that you brought that up. Watercolors is so different, especially for me personally. I'm actually not very good with watercolors. A lot of people think that I'm crazy for saying that, but it's true. I've not ever been one to really... Yeah, don't be afraid to also put your fingers on your painting. Something I do a lot. Don't be afraid. Just want some highlights where I feel like it would break through that gate. Watercolors to me takes, again, it's just like with painting portraits, painting people. To me, it takes a skill set that those who can do it, I feel, are very talented people. My friend Monique Renee, she has a YouTube channel here. She's an amazing watercolor artist. Amazing watercolor artist. If you guys go check her out, Monique Renee, spelled with a Q for Monique. Amazing artist. Let her know that I sent you over if you guys go check her out. She's an amazing human being too. I know her personally. Met her a couple years ago working Bite of Las Vegas. Amazing person. Beautiful person inside and out. But yeah, she does amazing watercolor work. And watercolor is something that I just cannot get. I can't figure it out for the life of me. Maybe one of these days I might, but as of right now, it's definitely something that I don't really mind in the fact that I don't know how to do it. I really don't mind. It doesn't bother me at all. Painting in acrylics was something that bothered me that I really wanted to know how to do. That was something I really, like, to me, I was like, no, I have to know how to do this. Which is how I ended up painting stuff like this. All right, you guys. So I think that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of an up close. This is just it for today. It's not it forever, but we're going to just do a little close up as to what we've done today. Added those nice, lovely trees. Kind of help blend them back into the foliage there. And then on this side, added some more foliage to help blend those trees in as well. It's just layering, just adding, blending. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to end it for today. My butt has fallen asleep. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Candace, Manny, Isaac, my love, my mother, everybody. You guys are awesome, especially Lois as well. Thank you so much, Lois. Special shout out to you for joining me today. I know you don't always get to watch my live streams, and I do appreciate you joining on this one. So thank you guys so much. You guys are absolutely amazing, and you guys help inspire me to want to do this stuff and help inspire me to want to do more on my channel. So really, truly, I can't thank you guys enough. You guys really allow me to do what I love to do. So thank you very much. And I'll see you guys very soon. I might, since this one actually went out so well, I don't see why not doing another one. So maybe the next time that I paint on this again, I'll be having you guys join me along with. So love you guys. Always remember, yin yang is a balance, and the balance lies within yourself. Love you guys. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.